Hey guys, Gary J here, and today we're looking at something a little different, and that is a robot. Now this is what we call a B as in boy, B-9 robot, and you first see this robot in 1965 to 1968 on the television series Lost in Space. And Lost in Space was a wonderful science fiction for that period of time, kind of like Star Trek was back in the day too, when that first came out. And it was created by Irwin Allen. And again, it played from 1965 to 1968 on CBS. It was inspired by the 1812 novel, the novel called Swiss Family Robinson, and a comic book published by Gold Key Comics titled Space Family Robinson. Now, if you look at that movie today, you can see a lot of imperfections compared to what Star Wars brought to the table. When Star Wars came out, it was a whole different dimension of special effects, and they didn't have all of that back in the 60s. So it's a big difference there. But for people who watch the Lost in Space series, the reruns that when it started in 65 to 68, found it very amusing and kind of interesting too, to see what kind of trouble Dr. Smith would get the Robinsons in their travels and so forth, and what would happen. And it was kind of a whole different world in the sci-fi world at that time. But they had a Lost in Space movie come out in 1998, which to me was really a good movie. And I was glad to see that in 1998. Encourage you to look at that one if you've never saw the 1998 Lost in Space, to give you a really updated version of how far they've come with special effects and with the Jupiter and with the B-9 type robot. Now, they don't use this same type of robot in the 1998. It's a much more advanced type of robot in the 1998. In 2018, they had a TV series, Lost in Space. I never saw that. But this robot right here, this is more of the collector's type of robot right here. And I think this is Chinese. It's got the Chinese writing here, 1966, 1985. And no, that's just a copy of the original. But this is what the robot looks like. Now, this robot is only 4.5 inches tall. 4.5 inches tall. Now, if you ever buy a robot off the internet, always look at the height. If it don't have a height, there's something wrong with it, because sometimes you can pay $50, $100, $200 for a robot, and then when you get it, it's only 4 or 5 inches tall. It looks bigger when you look at it. And this one's got a little wind-up thing right here. It doesn't do anything particular other than kind of move like that. But it's kind of neat. Don't you wish they made them bigger, right? Well, they do make them a lot bigger. This is like 4.5 inches. They make a 10-inch one. They make a 12-inch one, and they make a collectible one that sells for several $100s, and they only made them for a couple of years, I think. 1 year, at least I know, and it's 2 feet tall, so it's pretty huge. And we can take a look at one of those. Okay, you see our 4.5 inch robot. This is 24 inches tall. This is a collector's item too. of the B-9 robot, and this is what it looked like in Lost in Space, the original 65 to 68 series. And these sell for several $100s if you can find one. But you see how much bigger that is. So you can see this one here, the size of it. Okay, we'll take a little bit closer look at this 2-foot B-9. And remember, this is only 4.5 inches tall here. So it's constructed real well for a B-9, especially this large. And this is my hand right here. And the head will go up and down, and you got the strobe lights effect on it and so forth. And right here is a door that opens. Take two hands. Okay, just broke this loose. You open this door right here, and this is your controller. And this is what controls your B-9.
My sensors indicate an intruder is present. Danger, Will Robinson. My sensors indicate an intruder is present.
I'll turn the light off here just for a second. You can see that a little better.
Danger, Will Robinson. My sensors indicate an intruder is present.
There's a few other things that this robot can say also. And the concept is pretty nice on this right here. Okay, this robot is so big, you have to stand back from it to get it in the shot. And we don't want to go forward with it, but it's just a beautiful robot to me, the B-9. And I really like the way they made the controller. That's your antenna right there at the top. But I just want to show you the B-9 robot from Lost in Space. And if you ever find one, especially one that's 2 feet tall like this one, you know, a flea market or something like that, you'd be lucky if you can get it, you know, cheap, because they run on, you know, even on eBay or something like that For a 2-foot one, they run several $100s for one like this. So you might come across one day. Who knows? Just wanted to show you one other thing that this robot can do too, is that on your controller here, you press down this button here, and you can speak into this right here, and it will strobe and repeat what you say through the speaker system of the robot, like something like this. This is the first day of your life. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Now it's not quite as loud as.
My sensors indicate an intruder is present.
So you can speak through the robot too, and that's kind of neat. You can mess with a kid's mind maybe with it, I don't know. I'll show you one more thing too about this on the back side. On the back side right here, maybe you can read this right here. And I forgot what the date was. 1998. Trendmaster, I think. 1998 Trendmaster, I think the date. And made in China. Everything's made in China. This button right here, you press it, lets the arms pop out. When I press this button, you see the arms. Yeah, they don't go very far, but they can move around a little bit. And right here is your on and off switch. And right here is your volume control for the voice. And the batteries, since this is a big robot, it takes 8 D-size batteries, 8 D-size batteries to run this big robot. And they're underneath the bottom here. You got to take 4 screws out to take the bottom plate out to put the batteries in it. So it's pretty hefty. But that's what I wanted to show you on that. Thanks for watching on this robot, and we'll look at another one here called Robbie. You'll remember Robbie when you see it, I think.